Welcome to Self-Improvement Sunday with a really wonderful quote from Peter Alcantara. The trouble is that everyone talks about reforming others, and no one ever thinks about reforming himself. If you take a look around the world right now, you'll see fingers pointing everywhere but here by everyone from the top level of government all down to like the lowest guy on the totem pole. At no point do any of these people who claim to have the legitimate power to wield over our lives, none of them are taking a look inside to see what they're doing and why. And I think that's a huge reason why our world is in such a distressing place today. So with that depressing thought as an opener, maybe it's not a depressing thought, it's certainly a realistic examination of where we're at today. My name is Christopher D'Armani, and I empower nonfiction authors, perhaps a nonfiction author just like you, so you can turn your dream of writing a book into your published reality. And today we're going to talk about a couple of simple tools that will allow you to write with confidence, to share your story with power and energy and excitement. And it all starts by, looking in here. So simple, really. Personal responsibility is truly the foundation of all personal growth. I cannot possibly make my life any better until I admit what's going on right now. I can't change my thinking, I can't change my behavior, I can't change any of my external circumstances of my life until I first change the internal circumstances of my life. And that's what most people, certainly as we're seeing displayed all over social media, all over the news, all over every political discourse in the country, in the world, no one's willing to take a look at themselves. And I think that's a really terrible indictment of where humanity is at this point in time. Because instead of focusing on ourselves, it's just so darn easy to point the fingers elsewhere, isn't it? It's your fault. If only you would do something, if only you would change, my life would be better. That is utter garbage. Sure, maybe that other person does need to change, but that's not the point. The point is that when I embrace responsibility for what I do, how I do it, what I say, why I say it, when I embrace all those things and work hard to change those things, guess what? Those other people miraculously change. It's like magic. And yet so many people are just terrified of the idea. The only person I can change is me, just like the only person you can change is you. We don't control anyone else. We can't control anyone else unless it's by coercion, by force. And we've seen how that turns out. It doesn't turn out well. So please take some time to reflect on your weaknesses and on your strengths, because you possess both. Who we are is not defined by what we're not good at or by what we are good at it. It's defined by the totality of that package. So embrace your strengths, embrace your work, embrace your humanity, and then work hard to really, hone those things that you're really good at already into just the most mighty skills possible, so you can go forth and do amazing things in this world. And on the flip side of that work, it's really important to do whatever you can to mitigate the destructive power of your shortcomings, just like it's important for me to do that in my own life. Critically important. And how do I do that? And I love this book. If you've never read this book, please do. It is really, I would use the word profound, because it just details at the military level of how personal responsibility actually contributes to overall mission success. The psychology of this is really, really important. So take extreme ownership of your life, of what you do, your habits, good and bad. Take extreme ownership of your behaviors, good and bad. Take extreme ownership of all of that stuff. And then embrace the good and work hard to either change the bad, mitigate the bad, find a new way of dealing with things that helps build on your strengths instead of pulling you down with some weaknesses. It begins by embracing that courage to change deep inside ourselves. Because that's the most terrifying thing we face, Well, if I change, what about? What if? All those thoughts fly into our brain. The gerbils just love running around the hamster wheel on that crap. Don't give them the opportunity. Just don't give them the opportunity. Grab onto your courage, embrace your shortcomings courageously, and do everything you possibly can to mitigate those things, to limit those things, to remove them from your life, to make them become one of your strengths. So one of my favorite tools is just a simple notebook. And I love the heart in the coffee here. So that's why I picked this particular notebook image. It could be any notebook. We pick one that you like. Carry it with you everywhere you go. Notebook and pen, just make it, if you're doing anything anywhere outside of your home, you take that thing with you. And when you are at home, make sure it's always in front of you. When you go to bed at night, make sure it's sitting there beside you, because you know how it is. Some really amazing thought will come at you right as you're drifting off to sleep, as your subconscious starts to bubble up into your conscious. And if you don't write it down, it is gone forever. So yeah, that's one of my favorite things, is putting the notebook beside my bed so I can capture those things. It's really, really important. And wherever you go, ideas, things you could try, things you could change, things you could do better, those ideas are going to pop into your head all over the place. So that's why it's so important to carry the notebook with you so you can remember it. Because, who was it? I think it was Jack London said that the pencil and paper is a far better memory than the stuff in between my ears. I mean, butchering his quote, but essentially that's it. The pencil and paper remembers long after the memory fades, right? So it's just a really beautiful tool. And then use that notebook to get all those thoughts out of your head and onto the page. Because once they're out of your head and onto that page, you can deal with them. You can focus on, well, this is the reality of it. Oh my goodness, it's staring you in the face. It's just such a great tool for stopping that hamster wheel running around inside our brains. You know, and once we get those thoughts out, those negative thoughts, those thoughts that drag us down, we can figure out a way to reframe it, turn it into something positive, something that's going to move our lives forward towards the success that we want, towards turning that dream we have for our life into our reality. Empower yourself by doing those sorts of things. Taking all these, and the really scary thing is that once you start paying attention to what actually wanders through this brain from time to time, it's really rather disheartening. It can be rather shocking. Just this morning, and I'm really grateful I've started this process of paying attention to what goes through there instead of just accepting it blindly. But there was a thought that wandered through my mind. I was like, well, that's not very helpful. where before I would have just let it fly on through and perhaps done even worse, grabbed onto it and held onto it. I was able to take a look at what was going through my brain, understand why it was so detrimental to me today, and replace it with an empowering thought. But it all begins with that awareness, that willingness to be aware more than anything. Because the reality is you can live your life in poverty in every sense of the word, emotional, physical, spiritual, intellectual. There's so many ways to be living in that poverty of spirit. You know, you can do that, or I love this picture. Or you can live your life of greatness, of empowerment, of turning every vision for your life into your reality. These are your choices. So which one will you choose? Where will you place your focus? On what you don't have, on your shortcomings? Or on what's possible for you if you just kick open those doors of possibility for you in your life, in whatever way that looks? The world, are you going to make the choice for that world of unworthiness, of lack, of fear, of I'm not good enough for anything ever? That world where you literally can feel yourself falling apart, disintegrating right before your very eyes? Or do you want to live in that world of possibility, where every amazing thing you want for your life is possible, even if it's not here in this moment? But there is that immense sense of gratitude. There's the boundless joy that comes with striving for something really amazing. One of these things requires absolutely nothing from you. The other requires everything you've got. Everything. So what's the choice you want to make? What is the choice that's right for you? I will always choose the joy and the gratitude. Let me go back to the fun slide. Where is she? There she is. I will always choose gratitude, love, joy, compassion over fear, self-doubt, recrimination, self-abuse. Always. Because I'm just happier. It makes my life better to be living in the realm of possibility. Because we've all, whoops, wrong way. We've all lived here. Nobody, I don't know anyone that wants to live here. I know lots of people who are stuck living there, but they don't want to be there. But they haven't embraced the courage to get out of it yet. So if that resonates for you, then grab onto your courage. Because you have a choice. And it is your choice. That's it. Have a fantastic rest of your Sunday, and I will talk to you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Bye for now.